Hi, my name is Robert Frazier, and today I'll be working with my mock client John Smith. He is 35 years old and he's a software engineer. Um, he currently wants to build muscle and improve overall fitness. So right now he is in the preparation stage because he has mentioned that he is out of shape, but he really wants to go change that right now. So today in this practical, I'll be conducting two tests: shoulder manual muscle test and the 60-second squat endurance test. And then I'll demonstrate two exercises: the low load barbell back squat, as well as the dumbbell bench press. And I'll also provide him coaching cues and corrections and an anatomical analysis. All right, I'll be having my client John, and I'll be demonstrating the shoulder manual muscle test. This will be for his bench press. This test just goes over general strength and stability within his shoulder so that I know that he can perform the bench press. So he'll start off with a 90-degree abducted shoulder in the frontal plane, and then I'll instruct him to hold this position without letting me push him down, and then I'll give him a score of 0 to 5, 0 being not being able to resist me at all, with 5 being full resistance. And this will just be a test for me to see if he will be able to perform the bench press because of how stable his shoulder is. So John, if you want to come over here, I'll have you duct your shoulder 90 degrees. And so yeah, hold this position, don't let me push you down. He gets a 5. He has full resistance in the shoulder. He is ready to perform the bench press.
1.
All right, so the second test I'll be conducting with John is the 60-second squat endurance test. This test evaluates lower body muscular endurance, just whole body fitness, mobility, functional capacity, which is really essential for a deconditioned client like John here. So with him, I'll have him stand feet shoulder width apart, arms crossed, and then I'll have him go full depth for 60 seconds. This will just time his endurance and his ability to get into a squat. So John, if you want to come here, I will take this. I'll have you stand shoulder width apart, arms crossed, and then I'll have you go down into your squat in 3, 2, 1. And I'll have you stop. All right, that looked great. So now that I've done these tests, we'll move on to our first exercise that I'll demonstrate. The first one is our low load barbell back squat. So yeah, this will just focus on building lower leg strength. So you'll stand feet shoulder width apart, toes, you'll have them slightly outward, and then you will put your bar on your upper trap. You want to keep your chest tall, your core braced, and then when you go down, you want to keep your heels on the ground, and you want to go downwards, keeping your chest up. So yeah, John, I'll have you come over, and I'll have you try this out. All right, I'll have you stop right there. So what I would like you to have is I want you to keep your knees over your toes when you go downwards. I want you to keep your chest up. You're hunching over, so I want you to keep your chest up, and I want you to drive your hips backward when you go down so that you're not hinging. I want you to go downwards. So drive your hips back. I'll have you try again. Yes. Yes, one more time, keep your chest more up. And then go one more time. Yes. That was great. All right, for my second exercise that I'll be demonstrating dumbbell bench press. So for these, you want to keep your feet planted. You want to keep your 5 points of contact. So you want your head on the floor, you want your butt on the floor, you want your 2 feet on the floor, and then you want your upper back on the floor, aka your shoulders. You want to keep your shoulders retracted and depressed, while you go into this movement, and you want to go vertically in a curved path, a slightly curved path, but mostly straight. So let me demonstrate 2 reps for you. So maintain 5 points of contact, shoulders retracted and depressed, and then I'll just go up, down, up, down. And so yeah, this is a great exercise for upper body strength. Just a good pushing exercise, a great compound movement too. So I'll have you come over, John, and here are your weights. And then, yeah, I will have you execute the movement. All right, I'll have you stop there. So what you're doing is you're pushing downward. What I want you to do is I want you to push the bar off of your chest. I want you to push up vertically. So I'll have you try again. All right, that looks great. Go. All right, so I'll be going anatomical analysis over our back squat. So for our joints, we have our hip joint, our knee joint, and our ankle joint. Our joint actions are that our hip, we have hip flexion and extension, we have knee flexion and extension, we have ankle dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. For our main agonists, in this exercise, we have our glutes and primarily our quads. And during the eccentric contraction, it's the lowering phase, and the concentric contraction is the rising phase of the movement. Our main antagonists will be our hip flexors and our hamstrings. Some synergists will be our adductors and our hamstrings as well. Our plane of motion will be sagittal because we are going this way, and then that would mean our axis of rotation would be mediolateral or frontal. Some main forces that are in this exercise is a compression force because the bar is loading our back as we go down. And so yeah, the main purpose for this exercise for our client is for general strength purposes. He said he wanted to build strength, and this is a great exercise to do so. All right, and then I'll also be going anatomical analysis for our dumbbell bench press. So the main joints used in this action is our shoulder and our elbow joints. For our shoulder, we have horizontal AB and adduction. In our elbow, we have elbow extension and flexion. And so yeah, in our elbow, well, when our muscles are eccentrically contracting when we go down, and our muscles are concentrically attracting when we go up. So our main agonist muscles are our pectoralis major. And our main antagonist would be our rhomboids. Our synergist would be our rotator cuff because it stabilizes our shoulder in there. And then our triceps also helps us push up. Our plane of motion will be the transverse plane for our shoulder, and then the sagittal plane for our elbow, which means the axis of rotation would be the vertical axis for our shoulder and the medial-lateral axis for our elbow. I'd say some shear force is happening within our elbow right here. And then obviously the main purpose for this exercise as well is to build general strength for our client because that is what he's wanting to prioritize. All right, guys, thank you for joining me in creating this exercise program for my mock client, John. So yeah, thank you for joining me. I hope that he can use this to build some strength, and yeah.